Huzzah and welcome to Beyond the Gates, an Ohio Renaissance Fair production. On this show, you will hear from all your favorite members of Streetcast, vendors, and stage shows. We will hear wonderful stories from years past and find out who are the people who make the fair as magical as it is. So please, join us and enjoy Beyond the Gates. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Beyond the Gates, an Ohio Renaissance Fair podcast. This week is a very special episode. I am joined by my new friend, Rico. And I say new friend because Rico is joining us after his first year on cast at the Ohio Renaissance Fair. So, Rico, how you doing?
Oh, I am doing well, Lucas. Thank you for asking.
Good, I'm glad. So the reason that you're on the show this week is I spoke to all the guild leaders, and your name came up quite a bit in people who they thought would be a good first year representation to have on the podcast for this year. So, Rico, how many years have you been on cast?
It's weird saying it now, but I guess officially I have been on cast for one season. Yeah.
What characters have you played?
I have played one character, the Lord Magistrate, Bartram Boppin Gavel. Yeah, he's been a lot of fun to play.
What guild does that make you a part of?
I am, in terms of like status, I'm part of the Gentry, but I'm part of the Village Guild.
What shows were you a part of this year?
I did Fight, I think was technically my main show, and then I also did Jouster Rousting as part of Heart, Knighting Ceremony as part of Heart, and Dance Macabre was the other thing that I did primarily, and then just helping out with weddings. So yeah, just a combination of things for my first year.
How did you come up with your character?
So I think it was during rehearsals when we were talking about like what characters people were interested in. I really had no idea of what I wanted to play. I figured there might be roles that would be fun, or there might be like a need for something. So I was just kind of an open book, and in talking with Hale and a few other folks, we got around the idea of like inventor, which I thought was really cool. And then we came back on Sunday and they offered me inventor judge. There was some other role now, I can't remember it, but they talked about judge and inventor were the two that I thought sounded really interesting. And I said, you guys choose, you know what is more needed or more necessary or would maybe fit better. And then when they called it out, that I was the Lord Magistrate, I was like, oh, okay, cool. I don't know what all this is going to entail, but I'm game. So it started from there.
One thing I wanted to highlight about your character that people have brought up. Could you tell me about what your character does over by the stocks?
Yeah. So this was something that I kind of came up with. I was thinking about this. Uh, the opening weekend, when you kind of feel like a fish thrown into water, or just kind of thrown into the frying pan, and just what are you gonna do? I had some time in the morning, and I was wandering around. I found a few just people wandering the streets, but I was like there's got to be a bit, like some fun bit that I can do with patrons, and I just didn't know what it was. And so I was wandering around a lot the first like weekend or two, and I found the stocks, which are kind of in the corner. If you go left from opening gate and you kind of go all the way down until almost the end of that sort of stretch, you eventually run into the dungeon, which has the stocks right next to it. And I thought, well, this is a natural thing people are doing. They're going and putting themselves into the stocks for this photo opportunity. Um, wouldn't this be a fun bit? And I sat there for probably the first 2 weekends just staring at the stocks, going, how do I make this into a bit? People are moving so fast, there's no real way to like engage with them. And I think it was probably week 4 after Feast of Fools. I don't remember what theme weekend it was, but I just stood because there's like a little platform next to the stocks. And I just started asking people what their crimes were and saying that's why you are going into the stocks. And I would have a little um, like a little verbiage that I would tell people where you know, for your crime of treason against Her Majesty, you must remain in the stocks for 10 to 15 seconds, posing for any and all pictograms and portraits or any laughter from your party. And then they would stay in there, and then I would give them some kind of punishment, like go find Her Majesty and pay her a compliment or something like that. So it was just a lot of like fun patron interactions. And a lot of people just had no interest in interacting with me, but it was fun to just be like, all right, well then have a good day and continue not being like naughty and moving people along. So it was just it's something that I came into and it ended up being something really, really fun. Um, and a really special moment. Once people like got really into it, it was super, super fun.
Did you have any other bits that you came up with?
Um, I'm trying to think. I think that was my main one. There were little things that I would do like I one day I had some fries and I did a fry dance in front of one of the musical acts and just it was a little improvised dance. A few times I would sit on the Y Bridge and just chat with people as they were walking by. You know, they would be trying to figure out which way to go, and I'd tell them, "Oh, you're going the right way," if they would be going that direction on the Y Bridge. Just little things. I sat down and talked with people as they were eating a few times, so not anything that I think I hit on that was like a repetitive bit, but I tried a few different things and just had fun playing with patrons, honestly. It was every little thing I got to do was a lot of fun.
Sitting down and talking with patrons while they're eating is one of my favorite things to do when I get the chance to do it, because they really can't go anywhere and are forced to deal with whatever shenanigans that you're trying to do that day.
And you know right away they're either into it or they're not. And most of the time it felt like they were either into it enough to humor you or they were genuinely like surprised and took it as like a fun interaction a lot of the time, which was I thought was very cool.
One of my favorite bits that I got to participate this year was a bit that you were involved in. When it was me, you, and Tyler right before knighting ceremony, and we started imitating the wedding couple that got married earlier in that day and their photographer when we started mimicking their different poses and stuff like that. So that was a lot of fun to do with you this year.
Yeah, that was hilarious. That was honestly something else that I didn't realize would be so fun. And there were a handful of different people who kind of taught me the ways of the stealth photo bomb, and that people really do seem to enjoy it. And I don't know, it didn't matter when and where you were, people got a kick out of it if you just joined their photo or if you made light of like the person taking the photo, which I thought was just, it led to so many fun interactions, that being one that was very memorable. That was a blast, yeah.
So, Rico, now that fair is officially done for the season, how was your first year overall?
Um, I don't know. It was so many different things. Like I didn't have any expectations going into like the audition process or rehearsals or what the season was gonna be. Um, I don't know. It was magical. It was so many different things. Getting to play with like a sword and actually do like stage combat was like a thrill that I didn't even realize would be part of my Ren Fair experience. Getting to meet and interact with so many different fun people. Like I don't know. It was so many different things that I never could have imagined. In addition to, interacting with patrons and seeing a joust and helping people out in the parking lot. Like all the things that I did sign up for were fun, but it was, I don't know, it was an experience unlike anything else.
How did you hear about auditioning for cast?
So the very start of it, I think it was 2023. I came and I noticed how busy everything was and just everything was extremely lively. And I think I either talked to somebody on cast or I somehow found out that a lot of what goes on behind the scenes was a lot of improv stuff. And I'd been doing improv since 2021. And I was like, this would be a real shot in the arm of something different doing improv in this sort of environment. And so I was curious about auditions and looked in 2024. It came across my social media feed and it came across a week after auditions. And so I literally missed them by a week. And I was so annoyed with that. So I wrote in my calendar next June to look for that when they were going to be posted. And I saw them either on the social media again or it was like on the actual website. And so I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna sign up and or just I guess we just showed up, yeah. And the rest is history.
Why did you want to audition for cast?
It really was just to kind of shake up my improv and also just I don't know, it was I've been coming to fair as a patron since 2014 off and on and I just had a really fun time here in general and between thinking about, this would be really great improv and having such a fun time here, I was like, even if I try it out and it's not for me, it feels like something I would enjoy doing at least once. So I thought, why not just, give it a shot? It'll give me something to do. And yeah, I figured why not? I had nothing to lose, was kind of the mentality I had, I guess.
So you mentioned it a little bit about being involved in previous improv groups. Uh, how long have you been involved in improv, and what sort of projects have you been a part of?
So yeah, I started basically coming out of the pandemic. I was like, I want to do something different, that I've not done before that I've been sitting on. And I've loved improv since I was a kid, watching Whose Line Is It Anyway mainly. And I don't know, it was just something that always spoke to me. And so I started working at a theater in Columbus, taking classes. And then I started working there doing the tech lighting and things like that for shows and just kind of just joining any improv groups that I can. And I'm a part of a few different teams, primarily performing at the Nest Theater. So you can catch me around there if you're ever in town and want to see an improv show. But I don't know. It was that and stand up were two just artistic endeavors that I really wanted to try out. And once I started improv, I was hooked, and I have been hooked. I'm still taking workshops and classes anytime I can, trying to perform. So, and Ren Fair has honestly been an amazing thing. I feel like I'm an even better improviser, because of everything that I've done and just from all the stuff I've done and learned from other people.
When you say in town, you mean the Columbus area.
Yeah, I'd love to branch out, but yeah, right now primarily just in the Columbus area.
What are your plans for your second year?
Um, I don't know. The season's just wrapping up. I feel like it hasn't really kind of sunk in the work there is to be done for the next season, but I think I definitely want to maintain with my current character. He was a ton of fun to play. But yeah, how he develops next year, I'm not sure. He got married to a tree at the end of the year, but then it seemed like things were on rocky ground, so maybe he tries to win her back. Maybe they stay divorced. I don't know. Um, Maybe he gets down and dirty this year like he wanted to, because one of his backstory things was that he wanted to be a villager and wants to be more kind of in the muck. So I don't know. Maybe he goes on a dirty adventure next year, or he changes his ways and I don't know, becomes more lenient. I don't know. I hadn't thought about that, but I feel like there's a lot of different ways I could take the character.
Well, I really hope you find the root of your relationship problems.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
With your first year now under your belt, do you have a story with a patron or a cast member that has stuck with you?
Um, I don't know. I mean, there's a whole lot of them. I don't know if I could say if there's been a favorite one. I mean, a lot of the things are moments from each of the, not necessarily the shows, but each of the little things I did throughout the year. So there was a moment at the stocks where one of the patrons that came up and they actually tipped me, and I was like, "Oh my God, you enjoyed what I was doing so much that you will give me $1 like that." It was $1, but just that simple act of just being like that level of enjoyment. I don't know, there was something special about it, and so it was just very cool. Um, but also just like, oh man, so many people at knighting ceremony, like between the interesting names that they would want, and then just like these kids who this moment is like everything to them to become like the Ice King or the Queen of Friendship. Like there's just something magic about that. And in a similar vein, seeing people get married who were just like so happy and so into it. A few people I got to just kind of like hang out with off to the side, because they were doing like a hidden, not seen before the wedding. Those moments were very, very neat and just like super special. And then in terms of like cast, man, I don't know. I've mentioned well, I should mention the O Green Hose because every time I would see them, they would bring me something fun to do, whether it was like a game or something that they had done that day. So the interactions with them was always a blast. I'm trying to think. I mean, I hung out with Toby a heck of a lot, between jouster rousting and just being on the bridge sometimes, and he just brings it the energy all the time. So I think those guys were probably the people I interacted with the most. And then I have to shout out Lincoln Log, our toy maker, because he was probably the person I interacted with those first couple of days who kept me going in the lanes, where I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I would see him and his smile, and we would just walk around and did a few bits with patrons. So um, those are a few that really stick out. And then the one time at knighting ceremony that that the good captain, the good pirate queen was there, and then I asked her to come over and escort a small child, not knowing that she was really there just to, hang out and not be an accompanying person, but then to have the grace to actually do it was really fun and kind of became a little joke at knighting ceremony, which was kind of a blast. Um, so yeah, and then you guys also messing with me with the little gavel, so that was something I feel like I have to mention.
No, that was a fun thing that I started this year, was just picking random people on cast and giving patrons things that had to do with their characters. That's something I plan on still doing. And also the Pirate Queen had a lot of grace, you say?
Yeah, choosing my words carefully.
You keep setting me up for these things, man. I'm gonna
It,
hit the ball if you throw it at me.
it's how we functioned at knighting ceremony, so I'm not surprised. A lot of alley-oops for sure.
So you said you've been coming to fair as a patron off and on since 2014.
Yeah.
Uh, Doing that switch from patron to cast member, uh, what is the biggest change that you have seen that has happened at fair?
Um, I would say like in 2014, the first time I went, it was a really dreary, rainy day. And I remember looking at like the schedule and there was like a handful of things to do. So it felt like basically some of the day you're gonna be walking around doing shopping or just like eating, and there was really not much to do. And like there would be a joust, there would be like a juggling act or something like that, or like Queen's Choice. There would be a few acts. Um, but year over year, things just got bigger and better. The food got instantly a million times better. The amount of acts there are now where people come on a weekly basis, and I don't know if you can still see everything coming week to week. So everything has just gotten bigger and better. I would say the biggest change though was just the addition of the Whimsy Woods and everything that adds. It just really gives you a nice big space where people can kind of stretch out. There's a few vendors back there. It lets the barbarians kind of have an area as well away from the joust field, so there's kind of a nice blend of the armored combat in its own different areas. So I think the whimsy is probably the biggest change that I noticed, at least since I've been coming in 14.
Do you remember any interactions with cast when you were a patron?
Yes. I remember I don't remember what year it was, but someone was trying to use the woods behind the pirate ship as a priv. And Hale, um, I don't know if they were caught back there or if they saw them coming back up from there, pants, fly down or some such. But I just remember Hale like half in character, half out of character, telling them, "No, we have bathrooms. Like you are not allowed to do this. What the heck? There are children around." And that really stuck out to me. And then also, I remember seeing some Fae, and just being like, "Wow, you stand out." So I remember seeing, I think, Mars and probably Hope, as some of the Fae, and then who else? There was someone in specific as well. I can't remember. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember. But my brother, um, Sebastian Gavel. I remember seeing him as well in his big gavel cane in 23, the year before I decided I wanted to join cast. Yeah. So been a few people that I have recognized.
Something that Dave, the entertainment director, would say. Uh, I know he said it the last weekend, but I'm sure he said it the first weekend as well. That being a part of cast changes the fair experience for you. Do you do you think that you would be able to come back as a patron? Like, let's say you take a year off or something like that, and just come as a patron. How much is that going to be a reflection of being on cast compared to going back to being a patron?
Um, hmm. Let me think. So, I guess I don't know. I mean, I kind of ran this as an experiment. I took one day this season and I did come as a patron just to kind of see what it was like, just to kind of get that feel again. And yeah, I mean, I would say Dave is right. Once you come as cast, you see things in just kind of a different light. It's almost like going back to one of your other questions of, what's the best thing is that it's gotten bigger and better. But as part of cast, you know how hard everyone works on their bits and their characters and their garb and every little bit of magic that Streetcast brings to the fair. And I don't think that as a patron, you would ever notice enough to see all that hard work. So even though we see Wheel of Death guy, we see the Jousters, we see all the other folks that, bring Oz to the fair, we also see one another and like the amazing work we all do. And it's going back to just being a patron, like, and missing out on all that and all the bits and all the fun. It um it would be a step down. So yeah, it's almost like achievement unlocked and you can't go back. He is absolutely right from that regard. And I'm saying that as someone who's only done it for 1 year.
As we wrap up the episode, I just have a few more questions left. I just want to say to everybody out there that this season of Beyond the Gates is coming to an end. There's only going to be a few more episodes left of this season, but don't worry, season three will be back around August, I would say, depending on how everything plays out. And I'm planning on doing even more episodes for season three. So stay tuned for that. All of you out there listening to Beyond the Gates, I really do appreciate it. But Rico, what do you do when you aren't at fair?
I do computer IT stuff at a university where the colors are scarlet and gray.
And since you said that you're in the Columbus area, I can only imagine what school that could possibly be.
Yeah. Yep.
What would you say to someone who is considering auditioning?
Um, it's funny because every episode people are like, "Hey, go do it. You won't regret it." And I agree. Um, and so just to be slightly different, the only thing I would caution people is that it is quite a time commitment. And so if you're thinking about auditioning or trying out and you're like, my weekends are super slam packed, but I think I could squeeze this in. That's probably the only thing that I can think of that would be like probably not a good idea. But outside of that, um, yeah, there's no reason that anyone should not at least try. Do you like having fun? Try. That's the most ringing, simple endorsement. It's that you could tell someone. Just do it.
Rico, our final question that I have for you today. Why do you want to return to cast next year?
Um, there's so many reasons. I think the biggest reason though is just like the impact you make and knowing that you make that on so many different people. Uh, I've done improv in theaters that hold maybe like 50 to 70 people on a like the busy sellout nights. But seeing 1,000 people plus on top of the gate and they're all coming in to, interact with you or interact with some part of the world that you're a part of, um, it's it's magical. And then the people, like I mentioned in the earlier question, the people that make it as magical as it can be are some of the most amazing people I've ever met. So the relationships with folks that I've met, whether it's boothies or people on cast, or any of the stage acts who are humble enough to hang out and chat, like it's it's so many things, and I just want to keep going and uh, all the kind words that people have said about just my work and all of us as first years. I think it's really emboldened us to just do bigger and better things next year. Um, yeah, and I think that knowing everything I do after 1 year now, hopefully I can make everything about my character and my interactions bigger and better. And I think everyone's kind of on the same page where they just want to make fair better each and every year in their own special way.
Well, Rico, thank you so much for coming on this episode of Beyond the Gates. I really do appreciate it. And thank you for being, I guess, the quote unquote representation of the first year for this year. This is, since starting the podcast, I mean, this is only season two. This is always an episode that I look forward to. Is there anything that you wanted to plug real quick? Because I know I want to give you the opportunity to plug your own shows and stuff that you do in the off season.
Um, I guess really, if you're ever curious about like shows or anything like that, the easiest way to find anything regarding that is just probably my Instagram socials, which is at Rock Drummers Rock. So if you're curious what I'm doing comedically or fair-wise in the off season, yeah, just feel free to follow me up. Other than that, just looking forward to getting back out there whenever we get back out there.
You'll soon see how fast this part of the year goes, and then you'll realize, oh, it's July again, and we're back out there. So, Rico, thank you so much for coming on the show, and thank you so much to all the listeners out there. And as always, you can catch us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. And as always, huzzah!
Huzzah!